Excited about this. I had a meeting earlier this week. We talked about, it was a public input meeting because we're getting ready to open on December the 6th, a senior activity center. And so a number of, we had quite a few of the seniors who came, so I let them know about this meeting. So they may be coming tonight. And so we're really excited about what's planned for Bahama Beach. We're glad to have the original consultant who's here. He's gonna come up and he's gonna introduce himself. But I want to take a minute. I want to allow Taylor, who's our current park board appointee for District 3, to come up and say some word on Marlon Rollins, who's our previous District 3 park board and rep appointee, who's here tonight. So Taylor, come on up, say a few words, and then we'll start the festivities.
All right. Good evening, y'all. Good evening. It's good to be here with y'all in my home, Rexon. I grew up in Thurgood Marshall, and also to be talking about Bahama Beach. Living in the community, I have a little girl. She's 2 years old. I'm looking forward to the expansion of the water park, adding more some more exciting rides and attractions that can bring more families together. And also, Bahama Beach is a special place for me as well because my wife and I both worked our first summer jobs at Bahama Beach when the rec opened, and that's where we met one another. We were 16 years old. So it's cool to be a part of the development and also talking to the community members, and thank everyone for coming out. Looking forward to hearing what you guys think and what you guys would like to have. Thank you.
All right. Well, good evening. I'd like to add my welcome. My name is David Mills. I'm the project manager for the Bahama Beach expansion. A couple of housekeeping items before we get into the presentation. We do have a sign-up sheet at the desk where you came in. If you wouldn't mind just putting your name down. We've got some comment cards there as well. If you have a comment that you'd like to share with the staff, we would be more than welcome to accept that. My business cards are there with email, phone number. Please don't hesitate to call me should you have any questions. There are a number of people here from the City Park and Recreation Department. Louise Elam, she's the Associate Director for Planning and Design. Trent Williams, the Program Manager. Aquatics, we have Robin Steinschneider, Rich, I can't ever pronounce your last name, I apologize. Grayson Hay, I didn't catch your name, Donovan?
Yes.
All right, Donovan's here, he works with Aquatics too. We've got a representative from the architecture firm, as well as Mark Hatchell with Kinley Horn. So with that, I will turn it over to Mark to get into what we're all here for, which is to hear more about Bahama Beach. So thank you.
Thanks, David. It was a pleasure recently to sit down with Councilman Thomas and Taylor and talk about this project and give them a sneak preview of where we're headed with this and get their input. So as David mentioned, I had the honor to work on this project originally back in 2004, and the park opened in 2005. Is that right, Robin, I think? And it's hard to believe it's been here that long, but it's a great water park. It's Dallas's only real water park, and it draws people from all over town. It's got an affordable price point, and it's past due for some improvements. So we're really excited that you're getting to do that. So I did want to give you kind of a brief update on the aquatics facility replacement for the whole city of Dallas, just while I'm here. So the Phase 1 Aquatic Centers opened this past summer. They opened late. They opened late because they were complicated and hard to build, but we got them all open. And so there's a new one at Crawford, a new one at Fred's, and a new one at Samuel Grand. And I hope you have the opportunity to go visit those. They're all really nice parks. So the second phase of Phase 1, we're doing 3 more, and that's Kidd Springs to replace the old pool there, Lake Highlands North, and then Teetsy. And those are 2 mid-size and a smaller one we call a neighborhood aquatic center. None are water parks, but the regionals are close. I mean, they're not a Bahama Beach, and they'll open in 2019. So right now, we're finishing the plans on the next round of parks, which will be the improvements to Bahama Beach, improvements for a new park at Bachman, which may open later. And then Harry Stone and X-Line are both getting new smaller facilities. So the yellow facilities are the ones that are scheduled to open in 2020 or 2021. So as I mentioned, Bahama Beach opened in 2005. It served the community well. I think it's a source of pride for you guys. At least that's what I've heard in the past. And for me too, I used to come to this park as a kid. I went to T.W. Brown, where your wife's the principal, I think, and I went to Temple High School. So it's been many years ago, but Oak Cliff is important to me. So this past summer, staff would poll the people at the park to say, what do we need? What do we need to add? And the things they came up with were some open swim water. You know, we've got the 0 beaches, we've got the river, but we don't have just a place to hang out in the water and cool off and swim. They also said we need a separate small children's splash pad, because the little guys kind of get overwhelmed by the bigger kids at the big play piece that you have with the big duck bucket. So they need a little place to splash in the water, have some shade, and then we've got some temporary restrooms down on that end of the park. We want to replace those with permanent restrooms that'll be nicer, cleaner, easier to get in and out of, and then they'll be more convenient. And then just more shade and seating, because shade and seating at the park we know has always been at a premium. And then we've got a good variety of rides, but we don't have a multi-passenger tube ride where you can ride with your child, or a couple can ride together, or friends can ride together. And so those are the things that came out of that in-park canvassing. So the plan we've come up with incorporates all of those things. And the expansion area is the area, that's the big play piece that's kind of screened down. And here's the river and the 0 beaches, and there's the teen slide complex. And so our expansion area is just right down the hill past the fence, where we're going to add, between the tennis courts and this area, this large activity lagoon with a lot of shade around it. Another group shelter for party rental, the new restroom facility, which will have family restrooms, men's and women's, diaper changing tables, drinking fountains. And then between that and the big kids play area, we're going to do the small children's play area with some nice shade over it, and also a little wall to kind of separate that area, a seat wall. And then we're going to add more of the cool umbrellas, those big 20-foot umbrellas. We're going to add some tables and chairs and some umbrella tables, and really make it nice to hang out. And then to support that, we have to do a mechanical area, which will be next to the existing one. And then this is the slide that we're talking about adding with the multi-passenger ride. They call it a boomerango. It's like, some of the Hawaiian Falls parks have these. They're really popular. They have a compact footprint. And also, we need to work with the city on this, but we can put a palm tree or Bahama Beach logo or something really cool on this slide, and it'll be right out by the service road on 67. So when you come across there, look across the pampas grass, you're going to see, wow, this is really cool. So we're excited about that. The new restroom building that Moody Nolan's working on with us is going to match the style of the existing buildings. I think there's some money as well that's been set aside for maintenance funds to help spruce up the old buildings, which are getting a little tired looking, so we don't know if we're going to repaint them, redo the murals, whatever, but they're going to look nicer, and also the water slides. So the building will be very similar and in keeping with whatever we do at the rest of the buildings. The activity lagoon, this is in a large plan, is about, I think, 4,000 square feet, good sized pool. It's going to have some big wide steps that you can sit on and get in and out of the pool easily. It's going to have some ledges and shade so you can sit in the water on a ledge around the edge of the pool. It's going to be recreational depth so that you can slosh around in it without having to worry about, trying to hold yourself up in deep water. It can be used for lesson programming. It could be used for water therapy if you're a senior, if they wanted to have a class down there. And then we're going to have some moving water via some waterfalls on each side. Lounge chairs, more of those big 20-foot umbrellas, the big 30-foot group shelter for rental, and then umbrella tables as well. Just to talk about the shade a little bit more, we're going to have, we've talked about the shade a lot. A lot of different kinds of shade, I think, is the important message. So the 30-foot group, the shade over the water, the 20-foot umbrellas for rental, the umbrella tables and chairs, nice cantilever shade over the kids' semicircular splash pad. And then we're also going to put new covers, whether they're hard roofs or shade canopies, over the existing mechanical areas to help screen those and help improve the maintenance on those. So the children's splash pad is, we're still working out the final details, but it's going to have lots of low-level sprays, a little bit of vertical water that you can get under, geysers, and we definitely want to have some sort of interactive water table where you can play in the water and splash in the water. We may move that down onto the ground, or we may leave it up on a table, which works out well if you're a child with disabilities and you want to roll up to it and play with it. So I think that's going to be a great addition for you. So the next steps are we're turning in 50% construction plans here at the end of this week, first of next week. We'll review those with city staff. We're starting our engineering approvals. And so the plan is to have those out ready for bid by February. And then they will go out for bids. We'll be permitting while they're out for bids. We need to get the bids awarded by July or June so they can start construction. And then with the goal of having the area open by May or June of 2020. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions or talk about any ideas you have or questions you have. So. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a general one. So what did you find in the way of the number of traffic in attendees to the actual park, and how do you think that's going to change with the expansion?
You're talking about car traffic? Or?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not here on a day-to-day basis like Grayson and the other guys, but is it a problem for you in the summer when the park's busy with traffic a little bit?
Well, I'm not sure. I would suspect maybe only because of its proximity to the apartments. I'm only asking. So
Yeah.
I haven't ever really seen too much of the issue.
Yeah.
I drive coming all the time coming up this service road right here.
Okay.
I haven't really seen the issue. I don't know if I'm going during peak hours when I think about it, but I haven't seen much traffic on the service road right here, or even coming through here. In the first year it opened, I remember I used to walk from the park to these apartments right here, and it was never really no traffic right here.
I haven't heard about it being an issue these past 10 plus years, and I don't think this is it's going to help attendance, but more than that, it's going to be increased activities, room for people to spread out, which I think will be really good. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
The traffic part, this street out here is no parking, so they're not gonna park there. The parking is out here on this street. Now, in the summertime, we have the Little League football team that's out here. So that's what makes it more congested. And so, at some point, you're gonna have to find some more parking
Parking, not
spaces.
necessarily traffic.
But parking, because, in the summertime, when this park opened, then they was parking on the grass. They was allowing them to park on the grass.
And they use that for overflow parking, right, Robin? When it's really busy.
How often do you think we get to overflow parking in the summer?
We had a handful of days, and that would be only our peak days of attendance.
Usually around like 4th of July,
4th of July,
those kind of
Memorial
things,
Day.
really busy weekends. Well, we're hoping that people will utilize that back parking lot a little more that's back here, is that we're gonna have,
It doesn't have any stripes right now, and it's kind of out of the way, so we're going to get that restriped. We're going to make sure we have a good sidewalk that comes up to the park. And so I think with this parking being encouraged for more usership and then some overflow opportunity, that you'll be okay. And there is room to expand the park more in the future. So there's still space here, there's space here, and hopefully you'll get some more attractions as part of that, and then along with that, some more parking. So
How many cars? That one hold about how many cars? About 50?
I'm thinking it's about 60 cars, if I remember. Yeah. It's just, there's no stripes, so it's kind of hard to tell where to park. Yes, sir.
So will there be a price increase in 2020?
Not that I know of, but a little bit, maybe. I don't know. What do you?
I mean, there hasn't been a price increase in, I think, 4 or 5 years, at least. We didn't plan on proposing any for next year. So, I mean, I would think that having more attractions would warrant a price increase, but it's all going to be dependent on the board. We also hope, that having the expansion will draw more people, so we're going to get more revenue regardless. And I wouldn't think if we do increase it, it would probably be pretty modest. We've really tried hard to keep this park affordable. It hasn't, the goal hasn't been to gouge people to make a bunch of profit. We just want to cover our costs and keep it affordable for the neighborhood.
And set aside a little for maintenance and upkeep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Speaking about his question, the fees and raising it, during my time on the park board, it was a question about raising the fees. Can you share with the community about what makes this park differentiated from, like he said, the community park and its fees, and this being considered a regional park compared to the other aquatic parks? Because we did a fee assessment, and we were trying to raise it last year.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, in a sense, explain to the citizens the differentiator of what impacts the fees.
Okay, I'm going to let Robin help me out on that because I've been so worried about getting the plans done. I haven't looked at the operations plan in a couple of years. So.
Yeah, the new aquatic centers, the regional aquatic centers that just opened, their fees are $8 for adults and $6 for kids. Whereas for here, resident fees are $13 and $9. Am I getting that right? 13 and 9. So we have about a $5 difference. But the difference in amenities is much bigger than that. I would say that a regional facility is maybe a third of the size of what Bahama Beach is today before the expansion. So you get a whole lot more here. Usually the length of stay at a regional is going to be in the 2 to 3 hour range just because it doesn't have enough amenities to keep people interested for much longer than that. Whereas when people come to Bahama Beach, they tend to stay all day. They're here for 5 to 6 hours.
And it is the most affordable water park in the whole DFW area that's a rural water park. I don't know
Yeah.
what Hawaiian Falls current prices are down in Mansfield. But
I think they're probably in the $20 to $25 range, so we're not even close to what they are.
right.
We are definitely the most affordable place, I would say, in the entire Metroplex. For what we get, you get a lot of bang for your buck. And we do have season passes. That's our, the other way to kind of try to keep the cost down for families that want to attend, more frequently.
Can you explain a little, didn't we discuss a little bit about a discount for the citizens of
Yes.
Dallas compared to those who come outside
Yes,
of the
and
city?
when I said that the prices are 13 and 9, we actually advertise general admission as 15 and 11, but that's to anyone who's living outside of the city. Everyone inside the city gets that $2 discount because, this is supported by taxpayer funds, but we do draw from outside of the city. We're definitely close enough to Cedarville, Duncanville, Lancaster, Grand Prairie, that we get a lot of non-residents coming in, and so we're able to charge them that extra $2 per person, and that extra money helps us keep those resident rates a little
Yeah,
bit
that
lower.
subsidizes keeping the resident fees lower.
Yes.
And with the expansion, that'll continue to help probably even more. So,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
As you expand and increase revenue and increase the business, will this end up 2 years or 3 years from now to be something the city of Dallas will look at to actually do like they did the FER, issue it out under private management? In other words, I don't want it to get out of that shape. To
Yeah,
where we
I
have
don't
to.
see that happening. We didn't
Okay.
have a great experience with it the first time around.
Okay.
It didn't go very well. It was meant to be a 10-year contract, and after 3 years, the contract had to be canceled. And the contractor, when they turned the park back over to us, it wasn't in great shape. They weren't taking care of it. They weren't taking care of it.
That puts pressure for the fees to go up, which is not good for the residents, and it's your tax dollars that built the park. So it, you know, a lot of cities don't have a staff capable of running a facility like this, but you've got a great staff, you've got people with a lot of history in the park, going back to, you know, even Taylor, and so, I always support the city running the parks if they can, because then you set the policies, you set the admission, you make sure it's clean and maintained, and you're not depending on a commercial operator who's in it for profit.
And we, you know, we, as operating as the city, we own it, and we want to take care of it. You know, it belongs to us. A private operator often sees things from just the bottom line, and I think that in the past, they kind of cut corners on the maintenance and things because it wasn't theirs, and they knew that they could walk away from it. But we put a lot of effort, time, and money into keeping things well-maintained, running well, and, you know, clean, and we want it to be the best for the citizens, and that's, I think Mark alluded to, we have been saving some of our money, and we are putting some towards this project to spruce up the existing part of the park, because we don't want it to look like the old side and the new side. We want it to be cohesive. And so the existing part of the park is going to be getting a little bit of a facelift as well to make sure that it all matches.
This park was a great investment for the city. It cost about $5.5 million, designed and built back in 2004, 2005. Costs have gone on dramatically, you know, in all facets of our lives. But this park would easily cost $15 million or more to build now, you know. So it's been a good investment, and it's good to have the different types of parks, everything from the small neighborhood facility to a community size to a regional, which is still more of a traditional pool project, to your water park, and then your indoor therapy pool at Bahama. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Just, can you go back to the child spray area?
Sure.
Just making some potential recommendations. We have a lot of shade area in the other places of the park. I didn't see any where the kids were.
Yeah, so this is the kids area, and it's, I'm sorry the rendering's not that great, but it's a half moon shape with all the ground sprays, and so nearly the whole structure is shaded with a good cantilever shade structure. And then along this space here, we're going to have umbrella tables for parents and brothers and sisters to sit that are watching the little kids so they're close by. And then we're going to have a seat wall around here just so people don't run through the area when the kids are playing and splashing in the water. So I think it's really going to work well. Yes. Which this way?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
So that's shaded.
I'm looking at the render.
We will, I need to tell you this, but our intent and part of our contract is to do a 3D visualization of the whole park. And we've been tweaking it up until this point here at 50% design. So it's in our contract to give you a little movie of what the park will look like. And so we come back to you, we'll show you the movie, and you'll see the shade, and you'll see the spatial relationship, because, you know, this doesn't really show what it's going to feel like. It's just a manufacturer's representation. Yes, ma'am?
Yes, I know the park is just used for just a certain amount of months. I was not concerned. I would like to see where you have a room that you can use for parties, you know, you can rent it for parties or something for the rest of the year, and not just have this sitting, be able to, because
Have a
we
birthday,
right now.
birthday party rental room type
Yes,
facility.
because right now we don't have anything that's enclosed. We have a big space with table, it's not enclosed.
Yeah.
So in the wintertime, you know, it's not gonna work, but it would be a good idea to be able to use it through the year, because at the point, we don't have any place around here that we can use for
It's
rental.
not an
Right.
indoor party
Yeah,
/
exactly.
pool venue right now. Okay. We will make a note of that, and I think it's, you know, there's many things that, you know, we've talked in the past about a wave pool. you know, having, and Taylor mentioned that, and so we have space to do all those things. So we hope to do more in the future. If we did that now, we would have to give up, you know, maybe the boomerang slide or the kids play pool just because of the funding that we have. But it's a great idea. We've actually talked about it in the past, haven't we, Robin? So I think it's something that needs to be put into the ultimate development of the park for sure. Did I miss someone?
On that note,
Yes, sir.
back in 2004, 2005, as I served on the park board,
Remember?
we talked about after evening time parties for grown folks. I still like to see that happen where after the park closed, you can have a rental for a grown folks party without alcohol, or maybe with alcohol, I don't know.
There ain't no party then.
Ain't no party like a grown folks party. But I'm just saying, the facility would be great for after 6 p.m., 7 p.m. to midnight type parties. You know, if you got alcohol, it got to be no glass, beer cans, you know.
Wait a minute, don't put restrictions on.
Okay, all right. But I just think that would be a revenue generator for this
Right, be
area.
able to use it all year round.
So,
Noted.
okay.
Well, here's the-
With
I
or
know
without
that would be
glass?
a big liability to have something after hours with alcohol, but without the alcohol, it can be done. But my thing is to see that be done so that we can reach out to the poor, to the children that parents cannot afford for them to come, at least 3 or 4 times in the summer, open it up to the different places that know of kids, not just say this is for this, but an organization that got these children that, you know, I would like to see that. I am the Poor People's Campaign, I am the faith leader for the Dallas area Poor People Campaign.
Okay.
And that's what my fight is because don't fight the poor people, but fight the poverty in the city. And that's what my whole thing is. And we could see that happening, you know, after hours, have a couple of hours for those different organizations that deal with these children that are underprivileged to be able to come in.
That would be wonderful.
I like that.
And also during the day, you know, day camps and youth programs at the rec centers. It's very easy to scholarship the kids that are in those programs to come as a group during the day with their supervisor and use the water park. And it's really easy to do that because every day is not a high attendance day. And so anytime we're doing a citywide plan, we talk about that being a way to make it more accessible and available and let everyone experience this great thing. And so we've done that in Baton Rouge, we've done it in Charlottesville, Virginia. I know that there's got to be some of that going on now, but it's certainly something that can be looked at. So, yeah, it's a wonderful idea. And it's a good use of the park.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How many additional square feet is the addition going to take up?
Well, let me go back.
The reason I'm asking that question because there's concern in Mayor Pro Tem, you know, there's that they practice football, a lot of little league football on that field, and I'm wondering how much that's going to take up because they're already jockeying for position.
We are not getting anywhere close to the football field, and that was a big deal back in 2004. The coach, you know, was just getting that program going, and you've got lights, you've got a nice field now, so we're not going that way. You know, we're not. This is never going to be Hurricane Harbor in Arlington, for example. You know, it's not that kind of park, but we do have space available as needed for expansion. Here, and if it's going to expand, it really should be expanding this direction, you know.
So will you still keep the tennis courts?
The tennis courts are staying right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's always some really dedicated users of those tennis courts. I played tennis on those courts when I was in high school, so no reason to take out the tennis courts now. If there's something that's a higher and better use in the future, it'll be back to the community and meetings, and everyone can talk about it.
You took the swimming pool out, so.
Yeah. Did I miss someone? We're really excited about this. This is, I call it, and I'm getting old, I'm calling it my bucket list project. You know, seeing this go all the way from when we first talked about new pools for Dallas in like 2002 or 2003 to this point is great. It's great for me to see Kid Springs get redeveloped. It's great for me to see down in southeast Dallas getting Crawford Pool done down there, which is going to be an anchor of that park development. And then this park is certainly near and dear to my heart. I said at the very first public meeting, I never imagined that there being a water park here, but it's because there weren't water parks, you know, when I was in high school here. They were just getting started. And so, you know, this is the only water park in the city, and you guys have it. And so we all want it to be the best it can be, for sure. So,
Thank you for coming.
yeah, you want to say anything else?
I want to thank each of you for being here. And, if you have any other questions, be around for a little while. Staff will be around. I think this is it's very exciting. It's been a long time since we've seen, you know, anything new done for Bahama Beach, and so it is the city's facility, and so we want to make sure that we encourage because it's what I spoke with the Visit Dallas, and as they were looking at identifying different attractions, I think this is a attraction. This is something that attracts people, not just from all over the city of Dallas, but as I said, some of the surrounding suburbs to come out, and we will look at the numbers, and we know, just like with the fair, we had a rainy season. A couple of days, even our District 3 day we have every year, it was raining out, it was raining that day, and we had to end it a little early, and so, you know, we can't control that. And I'm sure the numbers won't be where they have been because of that, but it's because of that. It's not because of a lack of interest and other things of people wanting to come out and take advantage. So we're excited about the upcoming season. We're going to be starting early, planning, me and Taylor and my good friend Rich back there. I'll sit down, and our coordinator, glad to meet you, is on board. We'll all sit down and we'll say, okay, what are some things that we can do to enhance some of the days and activities that's already going on, to where we can make the community feel much more a part of the water park. So I want to thank each of you for coming out. Like I said, we'll be around for a few minutes, but appreciate you being here, and have a good evening. Thanks so much.